Hi, today we'll see how to draw hair using charcoal that will form the base, followed by color pencils to draw the details of the hair. If you are a beginner, this video will be very helpful. So stay tuned. To begin drawing the outline of the hair, you will need a HB pencil. Basically, the outline will only cover the details that you want to remember while drawing the rest of the portrait. So at this time, you will need to draw only the curls and colored strands of the hair as reference for the later part. So once this outline is complete, I'll show you how to use the charcoal blocks. Now, the best way to use charcoal is by rubbing a piece of tissue paper on charcoal blocks. It's best to lay down the charcoal in the direction of the hair. You don't need to pay attention to every single strand of hair. Just make sure that the curls are visible. As you can see, I have used the outline as a reference to lay down the charcoal, so it becomes easy to shade the rest part of the portrait. Once the charcoal is laid down, we start shading the light and dark patterns of the hair. For this part, we will be using black color pencils. If you are a beginner, I recommend that you start with the most economical grades of color pencils which are available in a set of 36 or 48 pencils. One important point to remember here, and I always recommend, that don't think of hair as a series of lines and squiggles. Instead, treat them like a mass with texture. This will give your drawing a more natural appearance. As you can see, I have started with a black color pencil to create strands of hair along the direction of the hair using charcoal as a reference to vary the intensity of color at specific areas. This is what I call laying in a pattern of light and dark with core shadows. Now, an important tip which I have mentioned in my previous video on drawing hair is a common mistake which most beginners make while drawing hair is what I called a spaghetti hair method. I've shared an image here to show what beginners need to stop doing to improve their skill of drawing hair. You can find the reference for another video where I teach a different hair profile which is much simpler than this. I've shared the link at the top. When we begin to draw the main body of the hair, we start by hatching strands of light flowing lines that follow the direction of its growth and styling. It is also very important to remember that the lines in the hair should be both rhythmic and unreserved, drawn with a degree of speed and confidence. Always keep in mind that the hair is built step by step in layers, starting with the lighter lines and gradually introducing darker ones to add tone, texture, and form to the strands of the hair. Here, we have intensified some of the darker tones to increase the dramatic impact of drawing and added some lighter details to enhance the depth of the image. So with this, we have completed the first part of drawing the hair, which is shading the light and dark patterns of the hair. Now, in order to continue to establish and intensify the form, tone and texture of the hair, we will start using different shades of brown. If you look closely at someone's hair, you will not see one single color such as brown, black or blonde. What you usually see is a myriad of shades and tints that combine to form the overall effect of the hair. The trick here is that you start shading with the lightest shades first and then move to the darker color tones. This will keep adding more and more layers to your hair. I have seen a lot of times beginners start directly to sketch their favorite people portraits. But drawing portraits is not something you can learn in a day or a week. Drawing portraits precisely takes a strong knowledge of anatomy of the face, emotions, lighting effects, cultural nuances, and a lot of practice. Hence, my advice is start drawing smaller portions of the face like eyes, nose, hair, lips, and practice them regularly for a few months before you dive into making a fuller face portraits. Be prepared to do a lot of work before jumping in and trying to draw the full faces. And drawing hair accurately is a big part of being able to draw more realistic portraits of people. Coming back to the drawing, While coloring the hair, we have to be wary of the band of light where the hair gets curled and creates a curved shape. This is generally observed in longer hair profiles where the larger strands of hair follow a curve and the light is reflected in the overhanging areas. In this case, we have applied our range of light and dark color pencils in dense layer of lines to stimulate the natural depth and luster of the hair. At this stage, it becomes important to burnish with darker tones of colors so as to hide any of the paper trails. Finally, we use a very important tool which is a mono eraser. This will help in bringing out the highlights and will give an absolute natural and realistic look to your drawing. While using mono eraser, it's really important that you don't go horizontal or vertical in one direction. In fact, we want to go diagonal, and that's going to allow the hair to appear again. So finally, start adding blacks to the portion close to the highlights in order to bring the contrast in your drawing. If you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.